to probe North Carolina Conference on Gaza for anti-Israel bias. Oh. And that's what they did. They came into Duke University and they came into North Carolina University, Department of Education, to federal level, and jumped down the throat to the professors and teachers of those two universities, saying that if you are not 100% pro-Israel, if you show any pro-Palestinian bias, we are going to remove your federal funding from your university. And that's what prompted President Trump's executive order stating that any university that says anything pro-Palestinian or anti-Israel will lose federal funding from that university. I am driving home the point of how Israel and Zionism influences America. Are you?
Evo, ja ovim putem pozivam velikog stručnjaka za Bliski Istok, Borisa Havela, koji je također bio, znači, sljedbenik takozvane crkve riječ života u Švedskoj i u Hrvatskoj. Znači, njegov šogor je Damir Šičko-Alić, koji propagira ovakve stvari i koji su imali svoju konferenciju Izraela imaš prijatelja, na kojoj je bio prisutan Dragan Primorac, bivši kandidat za predsjednika države, Bože sačuvaj, izraelski veleposlanik i još neka elita pod navodnicima su bili na tom skupu. Tako da eto, Boris Havel, ja te sad javno pozivam da kažeš svoje mišljenje o tome, budući da si ti veliki agitator Izraela i cionističkog pokreta. Pa eto, voljela bi čuti tebe i tvoje mišljenje o svemu ovome što se događa, budući da si javna osoba i profesor si na politologiji, koliko mi je poznato, na filozofskom. Pa eto, voljela bi čuti tvoje mišljenje, a znam te i osobno. Ti se mene ne sjećaš, ali ja se tebe sjećam, imam čak negdje doma i onu običnu kazetu kaj su se stavljale u kazići di si sviral na gitari još dok si bio niko i ništa, kak se veli, ne? Sad si veliki baja, veliki profesor, viđam te na televiziji, ti si agitator toga, pa eto, da čujem tvoje mišljenje na temelju svega ovoga što je ovaj doktor Chuck Baldwin rekao.
Getting the message. June 18th, Texas City refuses to give people hurricane aid unless they pledge not to boycott Israel.
Ovo je užas, nevjerojatno.
American citizens in a Texas city
Pazi ovo.
are not given federal emergency assistance unless they sign a form promising they will not support a BDS action against Israel.
Bojkot protiv Izraela.
Does that have to do with the people of the United States, the people of Texas, with the people of that city in Texas who need assistance from a hurricane?
Užas.
June 24, recruiting American spies for Israel.
Užas.
Recruiting American spies.
I hrvatske. I bosanske.
Taking young men and women out of our military, out of our colleges, whatever.
To vam je Charlie Kirk i njegov pokret.
And training them to be Israeli spies.
To je ovaj Turning Point USA. Znači ovaj pokret što je osnovao taj Kirk, njega su Židovi plaćali, to se zna. Nudio mu je Netanjahu, ne znam, milijone nekakve mu je nudio, koje je ovaj navodno odbio i zato su ga roknuli. navodno ga je Mossad i Maga su ga roknuli, zato kaj se počeo neke bunit, a o tom potom da li je uopće mrtav, nećemo sad u to ulaziti, idemo dalje. Da, moram još ovo dodat. To što je on radio na tim kampusima, znači, on je prozelitirao doslovno ovo što je čovjek objasnio, što su prozeliti. On je te ljude prozelitirao u taj pokret. To vam je taj Maga, nar pokret. Znači, on je govorio o Isusu, govorio je neke stvari biblijske, ali taj čovjek nema veze s evanđeljem Isusa Krista. Znači, on je bio rasist, mizogist, bio je agitator toga, korisni idiot. Šta god ko misli o tome, bio je korisni idiot i sad rade pokret na temelju njegove pod navodnicima krvi. Budite kao Charlie Kirk. Ne, nemojte biti kao Charlie Kirk. Molim vas, nemojte biti kao Charlie Kirk, zato što je Charlie Kirk bio jerk. Bio je korisni idiot tim ubojicama. Tim ubojicama i tom zlu.
American-born young men and young women who are trained to be Israeli spies wind up spying on us.
Mhm. Znači, taj Šičko Alić, koji ima crkvu Riječ života, koja je inačica crkve, pod navodnicima crkve, to je kult. To je pokret, to je kult. To je antikristov duh je u pitanju. Znači, ja sam bila tamo 5 godina kuhana i pečena, ko klinka sa 19 godina, kad nisam imala pojma o ničemu. On je mene tužio na sud, znači neosnovano me tužio za klevetu kad sam iznijela stvari o zlostavljanju na tom mjestu. Ja sam sud dobila uz Božju pomoć, bez odvjetnika, bez novaca, u teškom psihofizičkom stanju. Završila sam na psihijatriji radi sudske tužbe. Znači, to je destruktivan pokret, destruktivna sekta, kult, nazovite to kako god hoćete. Kako god hoćete, prijavljeni su institucijama u Hrvatskoj. Da li institucije nešto rade ili ne, tu je bilo slučaja pedofilije koji su zataškani i sve će izaći na vidjelo. Sve će izaći na vidjelo, nećete ništa sakrit, smradovi jedni pokvareni. Ništa neće biti skriveno, to je Bog rekao i tako će i biti. Amen.
June 25th. This is a foreign news report. Donald Trump, good for Israel. July 12th. Senators introduce bipartisan bill to fund Holocaust education in schools nationwide. July 29th. Jews outraged by restrictive abortion laws are invoking the Hebrew Bible in the debate. Again, rabid pro-abortionists. When they talk about the Hebrew Bible, they're not talking about the Pentateuch, Genesis through Deuteronomy. They're talking about the Talmud. In the words of the Talmud, unborn babies are not living beings.
Evo, ovo je poruka vama isto Miletiću i ostaloj ekipi. Ovima dole kaj se mole tamo na trgu, nemojte biti korisni idioti. Ljudi, nemojte se dati, molim vas, iskorištavati, to su plaćenici, to su sve plaćenici. Moli se doma. Doma se moli, kak ti je Isus rekao. Čitaj Bibliju, šta je Isus rekao, nemojte biti ko oni koji na trgovima mole, prave se sveti pred ljudima i tako dalje i tako dalje.
They have no soul. They're not human. You can do with an unborn baby what you will, according to the Talmud. And that's what they refer to here as the Hebrew Bible. August 26, USS Liberty veterans banned forever from American Legion National Convention. USS Liberty veterans banned forever from American Legion National Convention. I'm talking about the influence of Israel and Zionism in the United States.
I Hrvatskoj.
September 3rd, Israel partisan Peter Berkowitz named head of State Department Policy Planning. September 5th, Kentucky becomes 26th U.S. state to pass anti-BDS law. September 11th, U.S. police delegation visits Israel ahead of 9/11 anniversary. U.S. police delegation visits Israel for training. Remember, the Israel Defense Forces have no constitution, they have no Bill of Rights. They rule the nation by martial law, military force. They are the ones training our police on how to conduct law enforcement in the United States. You wonder why so many of these policemen seem to have so little regard and respect for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Trumpova Amerika.
October 2nd, Broward County, Florida Commission passes anti-Israel boycott resolution.
Nije Trumpova, ne.
November 11th, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley accepts prestigious Theodore Herzl Award. December 13th, Mark Levin calls Trump first Jewish president. December 11th, Trump
Židovski
to sign
predsjednik.
order penalizing colleges over perceived anti-Semitism on campus. Talked about briefly just a moment ago. December 27th, Netanyahu, victorious, vows U.S. recognition of Israeli settlement annexation. January 6, 2020. Targeted killing of Soleimani, a boost for Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu is a criminal. He is a mass murderer. He is a war criminal. But in Israel, he's facing domestic criminal charges. If he were not the Prime Minister of Israel, he would have been in prison a long time ago. The only thing keeping him out of legal hot water is the fact that he is the Prime Minister of Israel. He's embroiled in a political battle for survival. They've had 2 elections over there, and they haven't got a clear winner. They're going to have a 3rd one in March. It's not a coincidence that Donald Trump is inviting Netanyahu this coming week to announce his deal of the century, treaty deal, or whatever you want to call it, between Israel and Palestine, which is, I'll say more about that here in a minute, got some news on that. Donald Trump's killing of General Soleimani was seen as one of the biggest boosts for Netanyahu's presidential campaign that could have been done in his behalf.
Kriminalci štite kriminalce. Odvratno.
Targeted killing of Soleimani, a boost for Benjamin Netanyahu. That is a Jerusalem Post article. The flagship paper of Israel. January 6, 2020. Jeffrey Epstein, listen, this is going to grab you.
Mhm.
Jeffrey Epstein's alleged,
Slušaj ovo.
Madam Ghislaine Maxwell, along with Epstein, you know it, I know it, everybody knows it, they were Mossad operatives, both of them.
Mhm.
Ghislaine Maxwell has extensive ties to the Mossad. There is no question.
Zato ju Trumpavi želi pomilovat. Zamisli to.
Epstein, alleged Madam Ghislaine Maxwell, hires former Navy SEALs amid death threats. We have former Navy SEALs who are the bodyguards for this Mossad operative, Ghislaine Maxwell, who, along with Jeffrey Epstein, conducted this sex trafficking operation around the world for the purpose of bribing officials around the world.
To vam je to.
Let's go. What are Navy SEALs doing guarding Israeli operatives?
Pedofilku, prokletu. Užas.
January 9. Ivanka Trump receives Friend of Israel Award. Boy, that comes as a surprise, doesn't it? January 13. Trump's pre-election gift to Netanyahu. Execution of General Soleimani. That was the gift. January 15. South Dakota governor signs executive order prohibiting Israel boycotts. January 15. Israel intel helped U.S. carry out strike that killed Iran's Soleimani. No kidding. Netanyahu wanted Soleimani dead to boost his political ratings. He fed the intelligence to Trump, who carried out the assassination for the benefit of Benjamin Netanyahu's political career. That's the real story. January 20. Israeli unmanned systems, naval and avionics defense delegation visiting Virginia. Read the report back in April. Here we are in January. Israeli unmanned systems, naval and avionics defense delegation visiting Virginia. Two more of these. January 21. Governor Abbott, Texas governor, quote, anybody who is an enemy of Israel is an enemy of Texas.
Majel.
Close quote. You know what I say to that? Anybody who is a friend of Israel is an enemy of unborn babies. Really, Governor, I thought your job as a governor was to govern the state in which all people of that state were welcome and were citizens and had the same rights under our Constitution and under our Bill of Rights as anyone else, regardless of skin color, regardless of race, regardless of nationality, regardless of heritage or religion or anything else. Every person was equal under our Constitution and under the Texas Constitution. Anybody who's an enemy of Israel, really? Is an enemy of Texas? Oh, by the way, he was in Israel when he said that, receiving the Friend of Israel Award. He was sucking up to his benefactors who shell out millions of dollars for people like him. Do you notice that it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat?
Da.
The net result is the same. And then lastly, January 24th, deal of the century, question mark, Netanyahu just got the gift of the century. talking about the peace, so-called peace plan that Trump is going to unveil this week, about which is going to be nothing but a total blessing to Israel and a curse to the Palestinian people. But it's going to again boost Netanyahu's ratings in Israel.
Ovo je prije 5 godina snimljeno, ljudi moji.
What criminal activity? What political problems? Netanyahu is getting everything from America. Again, this is a political strategy to keep the globalist, murderous, Zionist Benjamin Netanyahu in office. That's just a sample. Note the prominence and dominance of Israeli news and the positive spin for its agenda. Notice Israel's influence over almost every aspect of American politics and society. Did you get that? Did you get that?
Yes, I get it. Finally.
Hollywood, Congress, churches, White House, states, schools, universities, everything influenced directly by Israel. Now, since I'm on this subject, let me rehearse for you a few, a little bitty bit of the primary Israeli lobbies that control the U.S. Congress via campaigning, funding, and raw political power. I'm going to give you a sample of the various Israeli lobbying organizations in this country. This is only a few out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Each of these organizations takes in millions of dollars annually. Some of them billions of dollars annually. I want you to, I'm driving home a point. The American Israel Education Foundation, the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, Anti-Defamation League, International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, the Gideon Project, Simon Wiesenthal Center, the Project, Women's Zionist Organization of America, America's Voices in Israel. This organization brings celebrities, Hollywood celebrities, political celebrities, singing, entertainment celebrities, you name it, and other opinion makers, writers, journalists, etc., on guided tours of Israel, all paid for by America's Voices in Israel. All these opinion makers, leaders, entertainers, celebrities paid to go to Israel and get the indoctrination. The Jewish Agency for Israel, American Friends of Likud, America-Israel Cooperative Enterprise, the Israel Allies Foundation, the Jewish Policy Center, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, that's the one you're probably familiar with, Conference of Presidents, COP. This is a group of 51 Zionist organizations, 51, just in this one group, 51 Zionist organizations advocating on behalf of Israel, including a focus on defeating Iran. The Conference of Presidents focuses on lobbying the executive branch of our federal government, while AIPAC concentrates on Congress. AIPAC lobbies Congress. COP lobbies the president on behalf of this 51 organizations. Just in this one just in this one group. The American Israel Education Foundation, the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, Central Fund of Israel. Now, this group sponsors reservists on duty, established in 2015 by Israeli soldiers to travel to U.S. college campuses to advocate for Israel and to train American Jewish students to speak on behalf of Israel. So they bring in Israeli military to visit our college campuses, to talk to the students on campus, to befriend them and make them allies of Israel, all paid for by this Jewish lobby group. Christians United for Israel. CUFI is a right-wing evangelical Christian organization run by David Brogg, who is a Jewish American attorney who previously practiced corporate law in Tel Aviv, Israel. John Hagee is the founder of this organization. Gary Bauer, head of the CUFI Action Fund. Bauer is also one of the signers on the Statement of Principles of the Project for a New American Century. Some of you know about that one, don't you? In 1997. Bauer also serves on the board of the Emergency Committee for Israel. In 2010, he received the Defender of Israel Award from the Zionist Organization of America. That's CUFI. John Hagee, Gary Bauer, David Brogg, and thousands more. The Haim Solomon Center. This organization publishes articles in the USA Today, New York Daily News, Fox News, The Hill, Washington Times, Wall Street Journal, and on and on and on. They are the ones that put out so many of these pro-Israeli, anti-Palestinian publications that are picked up by all of the mainstream media and published for the American people. Friends of the Israel Defense Forces. This American organization supports the Israeli armed forces. It hosts lavish fundraisers, has 14 regional offices in the United States, and one in Latin America. FIDF also brings hundreds of Israeli soldiers to the U.S. every year to lecture at synagogues, universities, and schools in order to increase American support for Israeli politics. Are you understanding this? The Jewish Agency for Israel, Young Judea, the oldest Zionist youth movement in the United States. It brings young people to Israel and also has numerous summer camps in the U.S. that serve to instill a lifelong love of Israel. American-Israeli Cooperative Enterprise, all simply called the Jewish Virtual Library. This nonprofit organization was established in 1993. By the way, most of these organizations are nonprofit.
Da.
Most of them were tax exempt.
Da.
Its principal publication, Myths and Facts, A Guide to the Arab-Israeli Conflict. It produces materials to oppose the BDS campaign and publishing the StopBDS.com website. The organization also funds professors on U.S. campuses. Do you realize that many
I na hrvatskim
professors
isto.
in America are being paid by Israeli lobbyists or Israeli government itself? They're the professors in our colleges and universities.
Boris Havel.
Many. The Israel Allies Foundation, the Jim Joseph Foundation, Stand With Us. This organization has erected numerous pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian billboards around the United States. If you go to these major metropolitan areas, you'll see these billboards all over the place. It says, Israelis invested $57 billion in U.S. companies. $57 billion straight from Israel to U.S. companies for favorable treatment in the American
Prodane duše.
press, etc. Emergency Committee for Israel, ECI. The Emergency Committee for Israel represents a potent combination of Republican Party, neoconservatives, and evangelical Christians. The group's board includes Weekly Standard editor William Crystal and Gary Bauer, as well as Rachel Abrams, a conservative writer and activist. The committee produced an advertisement against Ron Paul that ran in South Carolina because of Paul's opposition to U.S. aid for Israel and other countries. They were one of the principal reasons why the evangelical Christians and conservatives in South Carolina rejected Ron Paul's candidacy. Emergency Committee for Israel. Millions and millions of dollars campaigning against Ron Paul. Leona M. and Harry B. Helmsley Charitable Trust. Aaron and Marie Blackman Foundation Incorporated. Jewish Council for Public Affairs. Jewish National Fund. The Jewish National Fund is an international organization founded at Basel, Switzerland by Theodor Herzl in 1901. The fund was originally created for the purpose of purchasing land in Palestine for a future Jewish state. Today, the main focus of the JNF is land reclamation and forestry. Reclamation, that just means, that's a benign sounding word for expansion. That's what that is. However, the group also serves to fund IDF military installations. The organization is well funded by donors with total assets of $1.15 billion. Just one organization, over $1 billion. I guarantee you this so-called peace deal of the century coming up this week is going to include the expansion of Israeli territory into the Jordan Valley. Not to mention the settlements on the West Bank, in Gaza. Zionist Organization of America, American Jewish Committee, World Jewish Congress, JINSA, that's the Jewish Institute for National Security of America, Republican Jewish Coalition, Republican Jewish Coalition. The Republican Jewish Coalition is a Jewish lobbying group whose mission statement includes the embrace of pro-Israel foreign policy. The RJC maintains close links to the Likud party in Israel. This is the Republican wing of the Jewish lobby groups in Washington. They are a Republican.
I u Hrvatskoj.
They support.
To vam je HDZ u Hrvatskoj.
They vote for Republicans. They put Republicans.
Takozvani desničari prodane duše.
Republicans they can control.
I jedni i drugi.
It's a Republican Zionist organization. The next one, National Jewish Democratic Council. The National Jewish Democratic Council is a group dedicated to maximizing Jewish support for the Democratic Party, increasing support for Jewish domestic and foreign policy priorities, and securing a democratic Jewish state in Israel. NJDC supports Likud policies, so does the Republican Zionist lobby group, and the Democrat Zionist lobby group. All support the Likud party. That's the war party in Israel. Pushes for hawkish stance against Iran, urging the President of the United States to, quote, stand with Israel. So you got lobbying going on in the Democrats and lobbying going on in the Republicans, but they're all Jewish lobbyists lobbying for Israel. They don't care if the Republicans win the election. They don't care if Democrats win the election. They control whichever party is in charge. Are you getting that? All this stuff about left, right, politics, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative is a bunch of phony baloney. Center for Security Policy, founded and led by neoconservative Frank Gaffney, a longtime Israel partisan. A primary target of CSP work is conquering Iran. the Middle East Media Research Institute. This is a shadowy organization. We don't know a whole lot about it. They don't disclose the names of their members, their staff. They don't even disclose their office locations. All we know about this group is that one of the organization's founders worked as an Israeli military intelligence officer. Israel-America Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, did you know we had one of those? Israel-America Chamber of Commerce. And I have just scratched the surface.
Masončina.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these organizations. Billions and billions of dollars. Lobbying our Congress, our White House, infiltrating our colleges, our university systems, our police forces, our military, National Guard, churches. I am trying to drive home the fact that Israel and Zionism's influence on America is huge.
I Hrvatsku.
Am I getting through? In addition, and I had them all, I had the names, but I knew this was going to be too long, but I brought the names with me. So I did. I found in my research over 100 members of the U.S. government who are known to be dual U.S. Israeli citizens. Over 100. Both parties who are dual U.S. Israeli citizens. Our government in Washington is awash in foreign citizens, and they're all Israeli. For
Špijuni.
the sake of objectivity and research, I tried to find any member of government that was a foreign citizen, or I should say a citizen of a foreign nation, of any other country besides Israel. And I couldn't find one. Not one. They're all citizens of one country, Israel. And I am convinced, absolutely 100% emphatically convinced, that there are hundreds of Israeli operatives posing as evangelical Christian
Tako je.
leaders.
Tako je.
I am absolutely convinced of that.
Lažni kršćani.
One in particular not far from us. And I have suspicions about dozens of others.
John Hagee je poseban, posebno zlo.
When you start trying
I
to
za
find
kršćane i za židove.
how these people are financed, and there is no clear delineation as to how they are receiving their support and from whom they are receiving their support, a red flag should go up in our minds and say, who is this guy really working for?
Plenković.
I'm convinced of Israeli operatives posing as evangelical Christian leaders in this country. The point of everything I've said is America is completely inundated with the proselytes of the Pharisees.
I Hrvatska. Nažalost.
Tell me, has America been blessed for all of this blessing we've shown Israel? I
Slušaj
will
ovo.
bless them that bless thee, Genesis 12:3. And that's applied to the modern state of Israel. We must bless the state of Israel or God will not bless us. And if we do, God will bless us. Really? It's been over 70 years now since we have blessed the state of Israel. Have we been blessed? Let me ask you, how do America's families compare to 1948? How are our marriages in America in 2020 compared to 1948? What do our families look like in 2020 compared to 1948? Have our families? How are kids doing in America in
Strašno.
2020 compared to 1948? How do America's educational institutions compare to 1948? How do our educational, did we have the atheism and agnosticism and secularism and humanism and all these things predominating our curriculum and our classrooms in the colleges and universities in America in 1948 like we do in 2020? What about the quality of our education? My father was born in 1907. Can you believe it?
Evo, da ne duljimo dalje, mislim da je dovoljno rečeno. Dugo ovo traje, video traje fakat dugo. Znači, to je snimljeno, evo, prije 5 godina. Danas je 2025. Evo, ko da opisuje današnje stanje. Ja bi ovim putem, evo, pozvala bi takozvanog, nije takozvani, nego je profesor na filozofskom, na politologiji, Boris Havel, koji se školovao u Izraelu, koji je stručnjak za Bliski Istok, kažem, kojeg sam ja ga osobno znam, ga iz viđenja, nismo se druškali, ali ga znam. Znači, iz te crkve, pod navodnicima crkve Riječ života, koju vodi njegov šogor, Damir Šičko-Alić, zlostavljač, o kojem postoji hrpa napisa u Nacionalu, u Jutarnjem, ne znam, i emisija snimljenih na Provjereno, Nova TV i tako dalje. Znači, tim ljudima se treba zabraniti svako djelovanje u Hrvatskoj, ne zato što ja to kažem, nego zato što to kažu brojni svjedoci koji su zlostavljani na tome mjestu, psihički, mentalno, emocionalno, financijski, znači bilo je tu svega, pedofilije, kao što sam već rekla, i tako dalje. To je posao za institucije. I ovim putem, evo, ako čuje Havel, evo, ja te lijepo molim, izjasni se po ovom pitanju i šta ti učiš tu djecu tamo na fakultetu i ko tebe financira, ko ti je platio školovanje. Zanima me zapravo ko si ti, koga ti predstavljaš i tvoje mišljenje o Damiru Šičku-Aliću, lažnom apostolu koji se predstavlja kao pastor, apostol i doktor. Doktor, znači čovjek koji je kuhar po zanimanju, koji nije završio nikakav teološki fakultet, niti ništa, dobio je nekakav počasni doktorat od svojih gazda iz Amerike. Tako da, eto, ljudi imaju pravo na informaciju, imaju pravo na istinu, a ne da budu uvučeni u jednu mrežu koja će mu uništiti živote kao što su uništili moj i tisuća drugih ljudi, a o tome imate svjedočanstva na internetu koliko god hoćete. Eto, toliko. Pozdrav.